Not saying that every kid needs to know who the Brady Bunch is, but some of them don't know things that were on 2 years ago because they've not watched TV. TV does not rot your brains. If you're an actor, it prepares you for every opportunity you come across. It really does. So get off TikTok, watch TV.
Everybody, great to see you. We're back with Corey Ralston. My name is Christina Brunell, and Corey has graciously agreed to let us interview him and ask him a lot of those questions that parents are wondering so that you all can get some of those answers and stop lying awake at night in bed.
So happy to be doing this. So happy to be, on camera for you guys and helping out. So yeah, it's been a while. I'm glad we're doing this.
Yay. Well, we appreciate it a lot, Corey. It means a tremendous amount. All right. So first question out of the gate. You see a lot of parents, I know, because you coach them, you've got kids in your classes that you offer, people call you for consultations, etc. And I would imagine that parents can fall into different patterns of things like overcoaching or oversharing or rushing or micromanaging or just sheer panic for that matter. Which of those or others do you see most often, and why do you think it might be tempting for parents to do any of those?
Um, Boy, there is a lot of stereotypes, I would say, with parents. I'll start on a lighter note that I love stage dads. Okay. I think that they're, like something we don't often see as much, but they definitely are their own type. And stage dads feel like this is a sport. It's very competitive. And so
Okay.
but my kid beat out that other kid last time or whatever. It's always like who you got to beat and who you got to do better than and I like that to an extent because I do think, like training is so important. I'm always about that training and building your skill, but like this is not a competition at all. And so I think that's a funny stereotype that I see often with men, is that this if my kid's not gonna, play basketball, then like this thing they're doing is a sport, and like you win by
Sport.
having trophies or something. So no, it's not a competition. It's not a competition. It's a business. It's a business. Um I think the there's the momagers is
Mhm.
another thing that I see often where moms are not everyone's Kris Jenner, not maybe even Kris Jenner shouldn't have been Kris Jenner most of the time.
Probably would
But
agree with it.
being a mom, you have to do so many things to be a mom already. Like I can't
Yep.
even wrap my brain around the things that a mom is or worries about or has to do. So like putting the career of your kid, like in your hands as well is stressful and
Mhm.
blurs the line of the like relationship with the parent and the child. I think, like how could you, talk to your manager about some things when you want to talk to your mom about certain things?
Right.
Let me tell you like a funny side story, going off on a little tangent here. So for like 4 years of my life, I sold real estate, and I sold real estate because my mom was a mortgage lender and she had kept telling me I needed to do it. And I started watching like House Hunters like every night on HGTV. I was like, that sounds fun. I think I'll be a realtor. And when I was selling houses and things like that, my mom wanted me to send her all of the mortgage business, and so like after a while, I was like, I don't want to call you and only talk about what real estate client or what deal is going through or who's pre-approved for this or whatever. Like I want to talk to my mom, and so there has to be this space where you could be just the mom or the dad and not like a central part of the business of
Right.
the career. So that is something that I don't necessarily approve of. For there's a time and a place where like you can be a momager, and you always will be a momager, and to an extent, right? you
Well,
know uh,
I think there are levels of momager. There's
mm-hmm.
your kid's just starting out and there's nobody else to do it.
Yeah, of course you have to
A-
do everything.
And then there's your kid is famous and needs a professional manager, but you're still doing it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, just know as a mom, you're always going to have a say in everything. And, you know, like, and your opinions are important. But, you know, like don't make the business or the career part so important when like your kids need you to be a parent.
Yeah.
That's the most
So
important
hard. Yeah.
role. Mm-hmm.
Agree. Along those lines, so things that can be too much. Um, training. So training is wonderful. Yes, absolutely necessary. But how can parents tell when training is either helping their child or creating too much comparison or pressure or burnout? What should they look
Mm.
out for?
That's a hard thing to be able to gauge, I think. You know, I think it's really good to, you know, use classes and coaches that other people recommend, that, you know, like there's like anybody can teach or coach, and there's a lot of people out there that probably shouldn't be. So I
And
think
thank you for having a
recommendations.
directory for us that
Yeah, and
tells
that's
us
one of the
where to
reasons it's
trust.
so important. Yeah, like who do people like, and also parents, you putting your feedback and letting people know out there, that's so important. Like, but every teacher is going to be, you know, someone's favorite and someone's like, you know, like most hated. Okay, so every teaching style, every coaching style is different. Every acting teacher is going to have like different acting methods that they prefer to use and teach. And so it's going to be trial and error, you know, like of what is a good fit. But I think
Hmm.
keeping variety is important. And, you know, using um, like a coach or class that, you know, other people have had, you know, luck with and like, and have seen good things. But, you know, ask for feedback from your agent managers about their self tapes and things like that if they're getting better. I mean, I've seen such improvement when a kid is with a new coach or whatever. It's like night and day. It's like, wow, your self tapes are so much different, and just because something clicked. And so, um, I think parents will be able to tell if their kids are getting better or not. But
Hmm.
feedback is most important because, you know, you take the blinders off. And
Sure.
so, but also switching it up so they're not just, you know, learning one way of approaching scenes or approaching characters as well,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah. I think there's also too, like, does your kid want to go see that coach? Do they
Yeah.
enjoy spending time with them? Do they come out and they're high, like with happiness because that was so much fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I love to teach myself. And so like I love when a lesson is inspired, and when class is over, everyone's like, man, that made me so excited, or like I've gotten applause before, you know, and like that gets me like pumped up and keeps me, you know, wanting to do it. So like, yeah, um there's people that have been teaching for a long time that that's all they know how to do, and maybe they're not as inspired as they once were. So
Right.
really, you know, I would say try things out, you know, get a taste of different classes and different coaches, and ask your friends and other people that, you know, like who they like, and then judge how well they're doing by getting feedback.
Yeah. Along those lines, what would you say are like the big red flags if somebody's looking at they're trying to choose an acting coach or a class or a workshop? What are what are the things that you're like, oh, no, no,
Well, um I would compare this to dance, right? And
no. Okay.
I love dance. I'm not going to be Timothy Chalamet here and like, you know, clown on ballet or anything, but like it's so hard to be an actor and a kid that's involved in dance. And I'm sure the parents out there, you know what I'm talking about. And as a
Mhm.
manager myself, it can be so frustrating. Dance requires so much time and like investment. And I've seen some training opportunities out there where they're just expecting your kid to sign up for so many, like, you know, like units that they teach, and there's so much
Yep.
involved. And so I think if any acting school is like wanting to suck up that much of your time, you know, and have you learn all of these different things from them, I don't think that's healthy. I don't think that's good.
Okay.
But I think finding the right coach is probably the most important thing that you'll ever do. One that, you know, like your kid likes, and they are excited and know exactly what they get. Some sides I got to call, my coach on this. They'll know how to get the performance out of me. So
Gotcha.
that's very important.
And how often do you think kids should train or meet with their coach?
I think more often than most do. So I believe, and most talent reps will tell you that we've talked about how every opportunity to self tape or read for a role is a big deal, right? There's so many people that don't get the opportunity. So to not strategize and put your best, you know, foot forward out there is a shame, right? So
Mm.
to you should be coaching or getting guidance or feedback on everything that is not like like a co-star or like a commercial. And maybe in the beginning you might even want to get coached on those things, but if it's a couple lines, those are rarely cast on skill. It's based on looks and types and
Yep.
people that just fit something. But anything above that, a guest star or supporting or lead in a film or series regulars, all anything like that should be coached so you could feel more confident and your kid has a plan of what they're going to do and different strategies on how to play the character, and all of that is very important. So yes, I think it should be happening more often, but I understand the reality of finances is
Right.
hard, right? And so that's one of the reasons I've created this audition prep system that people may have heard about or not heard about, where there's based on like all of my training that I've done, I created programs that can help analyze your sides and give you a lot of good tips on how to approach a character and things like that. So at least that could be as helpful. But yeah, you should be not taking a stab in the dark. If you could get coaching, you should. But if you can't afford it, there are other ways to
Yeah.
at least put your best foot forward. Yeah.
Well, and the tool you built is incredible. It's Prep 101 is the name of it, right?
Yeah. Prep 101. And there's even a Reader 101, which is amazing. And it's because a lot of parents do sabotage a kid's self tape sometimes. It's terrible to say, but there are times where the performance it could be so much better. They just didn't get the tone or whatever. And so I created a tool that also in a very easy way just give parents some ideas of like how to say this line or when to pause or how to like get the best performance out of your actor without you know being the bad actor on the other side of the camera. And so yeah,
I
I
love that.
made these very affordable tools that you could use even if you can't afford coaching. But yeah, you need help. Every
Yeah.
opportunity is important. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and it's a skill to be able to do all these things too. I as you were talking before about the practicing on a regular basis so that you're ready basically for when the actual big thing comes along. It made me think of like you wouldn't ask a child to not practice piano and then all of a sudden have a recital.
Right. Yeah.
You got to be practicing all the time.
Mm-hmm. Train
Yeah.
like you're going to the Olympics is what I always say. If
Yeah.
if you like this is people are at the top of their game, and the reality is it is not a competition, but it is competitive, right? There's a lot of people that have more opportunity than others, and they maybe do train with like very expensive coaches or what have you. Doesn't mean they're going to book a role, but there's a lot of people that are more prepared than you, and that
Mm-hmm.
does count. And
Right.
so like we've said before, like every self tape is a good thing. Every scene that you practice is a good thing. It's making you better. So training is what I would headshots, and then having good classes and training is where you should put your money. Absolutely.
I love that. All right. So switching gears a little bit, social media. All right.
Oh, okay.
That's a major source of
And I'm unpopular with
competition
this
and
subject. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
competitiveness, if you will, for parents and for kids, depending on how young they are when they get their first device. How would you recommend that families think about posting, sharing their wins, their like I booked this job or I'm on a veil or whatever, as well as protecting their child's sense of self worth online?
Right. Well, I mean, I've been pretty outspoken in this. I don't feel like it's necessary, but I do see some advantages to it. So I wouldn't tell people to not have it, but if you don't want social media, do not feel like you are missing out or your kid is not going to get the same opportunities as everyone else by not having it. Okay, if that's
Mm-hmm.
your choice to like stay away from the ugly internet full of creepy things, then by so do it. Protect your child. That's most important. So I will start with that. It's not a must have in this industry, but
Mm-hmm.
it is helpful when, you know, for someone to be able to look at your Instagram and see, you know, like some like current pictures of your kid, or, you know, doing something that's, you know, has to do with acting or theater or whatever. So like just updates like that is not a bad idea at all. Little fun skits they did or things of that nature, I think is good, you know, in moderation, of course.
Sure.
Not making it braggy, not pretending to be something that you're not. I see this a lot with social media, and this is where it gets all warped with kids and their self-worth and how many followers they have, and if they look as pretty as so and so, or if,
Are they
you know,
wearing the right
13-year-old boy
clothes?
trying to get muscles to look like Zac Efron or something, when, you know, like this just, it's not important. But
Right.
um yeah, just like, you know, it should just be like a tool to like just like a like updating people about your life, and that's about it. I wouldn't put a lot of stock into it. I wouldn't overshare, and I wouldn't make your life seem, you know, better than it is. You know, like there's so many people that just, I think they just want to be on the red carpet. I don't know if they really want to be, you know, working actors. I think they want, you know, which is fun. I'm not saying it's not fun, but um Instagram and things like that tend to glorify fame and who you know and things like that way more than it should. And I don't know any casting director that is impressed by that, you know,
That's
or
a good
like,
point.
you know,
Yeah.
wants to see that. They, if they're looking at your social media, rarely are they looking to see how many followers you are, because it really doesn't matter unless you have the 500,000, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like you're not an influencer with 12,000 followers, you know. So
Not anymore.
you know, like, right, and you know, maybe micro influencing, but that's not what kids are trying to achieve right now. And so like just chasing the numbers really lowers a kid's worth, you know, and they're chasing something that is really almost impossible, you know.
Yeah.
And so social media is a sticky topic and a dangerous place. But if you're going to do it, make sure it's parent, you know, led,
Mm-hmm.
that your kid has a private one, if they're going to have one, that does not use their name, that has nothing to do, never tag them in it. It's totally their own thing. And the industry ran one is by a parent, and it's, you know, like just showing headshots and things that, you know, have to do with the industry and little fun updates about their life, but that's it, you know. And you don't need to chase tons of followers. The people that are going to look at it are going to search you for it. They're not going to just stumble across you.
Sure. Yeah. No, that makes total sense. Total sense. Um, all right. Changing tactics a little bit. This is a high pressure industry. We've talked about, there's a lot going on and people want to make sure that they're getting the right person, that's it's more an insurance policy, if you will, that this production will go well, etc. And one of the things I particularly appreciate about you is your sense of humor in light of all of that, right? And you keep things fun and funny. And I hear you sometimes when Evie's in class, and I start cracking up, and Evie's like looking at me like, but you're funny. Where does that come from, and how do you think that has helped you connect with parents, and kids probably who are overwhelmed?
I don't know. I just think I'm weird, and so like weird could also be funny.
See,
And
see, there you go.
you know, like I'm random and weird, and I also have this. Everyone has like a humor brand, right? And from a very young age, I have really dialed into like shock value humor. Like, I'm not that I'm inappropriate, but like I like to push buttons and, you know, like get a rise, or, you know, have like, you know, the unexpected laugh or things like that. So I just get a kick out of making people laugh, and I just think my brain is very busy, and so like sometimes I'll just say whatever pops into it. And um yeah, maybe that's why people call me crazy. But yeah, like I I think I'm funny, but I definitely love teaching kids because they're not tired of my humor yet. So,
I love it. All right,
although my
so
references are so old for them, that, like,
well,
parents, get this for a second. Just let me wrap your brain around this. I had a cover photo to a lesson. It had the Brady Bunch on it, and kids, you know, 8 years old to 18 years old did not know who the Brady Bunch was, and I've just wanted to just shut my computer off and stomp away. I was like, what? Like, so,
Oh,
and
Marsha,
this is
Marsha, Marsha.
this is important though. Like, you've got to make your kids watch TV and
Mm,
movies. Okay, they have to have a reference. TikTok scrolling, doom scrolling, whatever that is not entertainment. It's not teaching them, like real training is watching what is
other
currently
actors.
on,
Yeah.
and great actors, and learning from them and being inspired by them, and analyzing what they do. Like, it's so very important. And I think a lot of kids are not maybe doing as well as they could be because they don't have a frame of reference for different types of characters or plot lines or tones of shows. And
Mm,
so, not saying that every kid needs to know who the Brady Bunch is, but some of them don't know things that were on 2 years ago because they've not watched TV or they played video games for that amount of time. And
right.
so, TV does not rot your brains. If you're an actor, it prepares you to be, a qualified actor, and helps you out for every opportunity you come across. It really does. So I will say that, yes, get off TikTok, watch TV.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about how many hours people spend on their screens, if they were spending
Mm-hmm.
it watching quality acting, they'd be advancing their craft. All right. Time for our rapid round. You ready?
Okay.
All right. Texting or phone calls if somebody's trying to get to you.
Texting.
Okay. Big city or small town?
Small town.
Hmm. Organized planner or creative chaos?
Creative chaos.
Favorite way to decompress after a long day?
A sitcom.
Any particular one?
Full House.
Oh,
Or Schitt's Creek. Either one of those gonna put me in a great
okay.
mood.
Along those lines, a TV show you could rewatch forever.
Um The Golden Girls.
Oh, yeah. Sneakers or dress shoes?
Sneakers. Or no shoes at all.
That works. Sweet or salty?
Salty.
A song that always puts you in a good mood.
Anything by Dolly Parton. Like 9 to 5 would always put me in a good mood. Or
Good one.
like Where's the Love by Donny Hathaway and Roberta Flack always makes me like groove. And like there's yeah, I like a very eclectic range of music. But yeah, I used to have a mix, like disc called Happy Mix, and those were some of the songs that were on it. Yeah.
I love it. And one thing that instantly makes you laugh.
When little kids say bad words.
Because it's
And
in the
I can't
script
help it.
or on
That's
their
that's my
own.
humor. That's what's bad about it. But like, oh, I love when like a real kind of like naughty script comes. It's gonna be hilarious. And sometimes we need to breathe. And I always tell parents, like, if you see something that seems like, oh, that's kind of outrageous, read the whole script, because usually you'll be like, oh, that was hilarious how they did that. Like, trust the humor most of the time. But like, I love when pushing kids out of their comfort zone and saying like a 5-year-old say the F word, like, will make me laugh every single time.
I love it. Well, thank you for making us laugh today. It's
You're
been a
welcome.
pleasure.
Happy to do it. Let's do it again.
Yay.